Today we'll write a contract that represents ownership in Sway. So the way it works is we'll be able to set the owner by calling the function init, and this is a function that we'll only be able to call it once. We'll be able to get the owner by calling the function owner, and to set the new owner, we'll call the function setOwner. And this function will only be able to call by the current owner of this contract. To get the caller, the account that calls into each of these functions, we will need to import message sender. So say use std : alt : curly braces message sender. Okay, next we'll declare a state variable. We'll declare owner state variable, say storage, and we'll say owner, and we'll initialize this to option of identity. And for now, we'll set this equal to option of none. So when the contract is deployed, the owner is none. We'll call the function init to set the owner to sum and our account. Okay, let's write the function for init. So once this contract is deployed, we'll call the function init to set the owner state variable. The first thing that we'll do is check that the current owner is none by typing require storage.owner.is none. And for the error message, we'll type initialized. And then next we'll get the caller. The account that called into this function, you'll say that sender is equal to message sender. Now this is a function, so we'll call it and then call unwrap. If there was some kind of error, this will throw an error. If it returned a successful result, then we'll get the sender. And lastly, we'll update the storage. Storage.owner is equal to option : sum sender. Okay, the next function that we'll write is get the current owner. So type storage.owner. Now here I don't put any semicolons because we're returning the value of owner. And lastly, we'll write the function for setOwner. First we'll get the sender, that sender is equal to message sender unwrap. And then we'll compare the sender to the owner of this contract. Require sender is equal to storage.owner.unwrap. And then error message will say not authorized. And now if the sender is equal to the current owner of this contract, we'll update the owner to the new owner passed in by this input ID. Say storage.owner is equal to option sum ID. Okay, let's try compiling the contract and see if there's any errors. Inside my terminal, I'll type fork build. Okay, our contract compiles. The next thing that I want to do is introduce custom errors. So as you can see here, not authorized and initialized, these are strings, but we can use custom errors. So to do that, what I'm going to do first is create a file called errors.sw, and we'll declare some custom errors inside here. To do that, we'll first declare this as a library, and then we'll declare some errors inside here. The first error that I'm going to declare is going back to the contract. We'll replace this initialize to a custom error. We'll call this pub enum init error, and the enum is cannot reinitialize. Okay, so that's one error that we'll replace. The next error that we'll replace is not authorized. So here, create pub enum access control error, and I'll name it unauthorized error. Okay, to import this error into our contract, we'll go up, and then first import this error by typing mod errors. And then to actually use the errors, we'll type use : errors : and we'll import the two errors, init error and access control error. And the last step is to replace these string errors with our custom error. Init error : cannot reinitialize. And for here, we'll change this to access control error : unauthorized error. Okay, let's try compiling the contract again. Open my terminal and then type fork build. Okay, our contract compiled. Let's try deploying the contract. I'm inside Sway Playground and I copy the code over from my code editor. To deploy the contract on the playground, we'll first need to modify the contract. So notice here that it's importing the init error and access control error from the errors.sw. But inside Sway Playground, we have to make this into a single file. So what I'm going to do is delete these 2 lines of code. Go back to my code editor and I'll copy this. And then back inside Sway Playground, I'll paste it. So I'm directly declaring the init error and access control error inside here. Okay, let's try compiling the contract inside the Playground. Okay, the next thing that I'll do is deploy the contract. We will first call the function init to set the owner. So I'll disable dry run. So it's going to send the actual transaction and then call. Okay, once the transaction goes through, let's check the owner. So I'll dry run this since I just want to get the value of the owner and then call. And that is the owner. Now if you notice here, the address of the owner starts with 0xA6. But inside my wallet, my account starts with fuel. So how can we convert this fuel address into an address? To convert the address displayed on my wallet to the address that's displayed on Sway Playground, I wrote a simple script. It imports fuels. This is written in TypeScript and it imports fuels, and then it just calls the function toB256 to get an address. To execute the code, I'll type npx tsnode index.ts. And that is the address. Notice that it starts with 0xA6B8. And back inside Sway Playground, the address also starts with 0xA6B8. So my fuel wallet is the owner of this contract at the moment. Okay, next, let's try setting a new owner for this contract. So we're going to call the function setOwner. And inside here, I'll zoom out a little bit. So inside here, address value, we'll need to put in a B256 address. And what we're going to do is switch the owner to account 2 inside my wallet. So I'm going to switch to account 2, copy this fuel address. Now back inside a TypeScript script that converts a fuel wallet address to B256, I've also pasted my second account from my fuel wallet. So what we're going to do is execute the script again, and we'll get our second account as B256. Inside the terminal, execute the code again. And this is the B256 address of my second account. So I'll copy this. And then back inside the Sway Playground, I'll paste the address here. And then we'll send the transaction. Okay, once the transaction is sent, let's try getting the current owner. So before we call it, the current owner starts with 0xA6B8. We set the new owner to 0xE3E. So if you call the function, this should return the new owner. Call the function, and that is the new owner. Now since this account is the new owner, if you try to set the owner again, since we're calling from the first account, this function should fail. Okay, so let's try calling it. And as expected, our transaction failed with require failed.